ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Gut Loss Podcast. I am your host, Steve Trudeau. With me, as always, my co-host, Mikey Almeida. I'm going to check that these guys are doing great today. I have two returning guests on my left and right, Saya Fox and McKinley Trudeau. Guys, how you doing? Lots of thumbs up. We're loving it. Well, today is the video game special part 2. Video game special part 1 was so damn fun. It was so fun. Why not do it twice? Let me get right into it. All right. I have a conundrum in my household. I'm rocking the PS4. I have been looking to upgrade for about a year now. Right. I want either the PS5 or that new Xbox Series X. I was told in the chat room that the Nintendo Switch is also a great option. So I was hoping to ask Mick and Saya Fox what the hell I should do. Should I hold off and wait until the other consoles become available? Or should I cave in and get a Nintendo Switch or something else? Mick, what do you think?
Get the Switch.
It's
Get
really
the
good.
Switch.
Yeah, get it.
There's no, because what do you want out of the console? That's the question.
I like graphics. I want to feel like I'm in a movie, right? So I loved Red Dead Redemption 2 because I felt like at the end of it was a cinematic event. So when I play a game, I want to feel immersed into it. And for me, the Switch and the Nintendo products, it's kind of cartoony. So that kind of turns me off a little bit. But they have some cool games, I will say that.
So I guess I would counter that with like, do you ever watch like a Disney Pixar movie? You know what I mean? You ever watch like WALL-E? You know what I mean? Like or Up?
There
Like-
are some games that you can get definitely immersed in without the graphics. It's like I guess like Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2 with its story modes, and overall Breath of the Wild was a really big experience. But other than those, like, those are like the top Nintendo games. There are a lot of third-party games that you can find on the eShop that are honestly pretty good. They don't have to look like, they don't have to look amazing, like graphic-wise, but they can like still be one of like a really good experience.
Yeah, it's like I don't want you to miss out on a game because, but I mean, if you can't do it, then you can't do it. Like you really can't like view the screen and like fall into it without it looking realistic. Then I mean, I guess that's kind of that. But yeah, I mean, have you ever you know what I mean? Like Up doesn't look realistic, but it's immersive. It's an immersive movie, right? You can fall into it and like care about the characters.
The only problem with Up is it's never won an award for Best Picture. It's always like the really cinematic, beautiful movies that win those awards. I'm just saying I want to have that experience.
Okay.
Trudeau, I want to know, how old are you again?
31.
Exactly. So buy a 31-year-old console. Don't buy we're talking about Nintendo Switch is all little kid games pretty much. Not all of them, but some of them.
Go ahead.
He wants raw. He wants rated R. Crash Bandicoot storyline is cool.
I feel like that is just like a stereotype that started that originates from Mortal Kombat. Okay.
Are they allowed to swear on Nintendo? Like,
depending on the game. Depending on the game.
I'm gonna have to edit. I have to edit every week. Someone's breathing like a creeper into their microphone. By the way, I can just hear someone breathing. Can someone
Probably
make sure
my
that?
mic, because it's pretty sensitive.
Well, Emmanuel hasn't said anything, so I'm gonna go with Emmanuel.
It's not me.
And not only that, he went on a bike ride for the first time in 3 years. So I think he's still suffering from it. If I'm being honest.
Okay, let me finish about Mortal Kombat. Okay, Mortal Kombat came out. No, this is important. This is important for the Nintendo Switch debate.
You know what? But wait one sec. So that breathing heavy came from us talking about children video games. And Emmanuel got really heavy.
It wasn't me. It was not me. I was on mute. Okay.
All right. So Mortal Kombat came out on Sega and Nintendo, Super Nintendo, right? And on Super Nintendo there was no blood, right? And on Sega there was blood. That's where this all originates from. Anyone who had a Super Nintendo and had Mortal Kombat, you were like, you had the kid game. You didn't have the real game. That's where it all comes from. I'm telling you, they're not kid games.
So for me, like I want like either my Halo or maybe like when they come out with the next rendition of like a Skyrim game, so the next Elder Scrolls game, something big like that, maybe like your next Fallout type of game. I don't think that the Switch does those games justice.
All right, Trudeau, I'm going to read off the top 5 Nintendo Switch games, okay? And tell me what you think. The Legend of Zelda, Animal Crossing, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart 8, Pokemon Sword. Does that seem like the genre you want to go with?
That's the problem. Like, I don't like, some of them sound great, but I'm not going to be big into all of them. You know what I mean? And also, I think there's some things that go on the pros for Switch. Number one, the price is great. It's $300. Like, if you're buying a PS5 or Xbox, it's $500. Which, I mean, whatever, $200, not a big deal. But I like the portability too. Like, I like the fact that you can take the Switch anywhere you go. So if you're like on a road trip or if you're like traveling or whatever, like that's kind of cool to have. So there's definitely pros for it. But I don't know, man. It also was killing me that I can't actually get one of the new consoles that I want. I know Emmanuel has like a black market operation to get PS5s right now, but other than that, you can't get one.
So listen, Stadia is, I know that it has a bad rap, but it is actually no console and you just basically get the games. So there is something that I was super impressed with when they started to update some of the games. Star Wars, and I think Ben, Sia Fox, you remember? I think it's Fallen Order, right?
Yeah,
Star Wars Fallen Order. It was amazing. If you like Red Dead.
Redemption.
You would like the Star Wars Fallen Order. You would actually like it. It has a storyline. It's great graphics. It's like really, really
A single player game with I forgot what I was about to say, but what is it? A single player game with storyline? That's crazy.
They don't make those anymore.
Dude, but it was quite good. It was quite good.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm just saying, and you don't need a console. So you don't need to pay for a monthly subscription. You can do the free version, and you can just buy the games. Now, I will say that when Cyberpunk came out and we couldn't get the game at first, and it was this big hype. I had got it on Stadia within a few minutes. I literally downloaded it and it was on Stadia, no console, nothing, and it played amazing. So I know people are knocking the Stadia, but it actually was quite impressive with no box. Right?
So is Stadia a computer-based platform, kind of like Steam? You didn't explain it.
Yeah, what the hell is it?
Google's online game.
Oh God, here we go.
I know, but okay, it's Google's version of it, but it's actually done quite well. Like, it's actually quite good. Okay, so I just try it and you'll see that it's actually surprisingly good with no console, no $500 layout. You just buy the games.
Well, we should stick to what you're good at because you clearly do not know new stuff there, Julian from the Trailer Park Boys. But let's get something into your element because we didn't get to talk to you enough last week. You kind of were quiet in the corner and I missed you, Emmanuel. So I'm going to bring you back. Let's do something that you like as arcade games. So we didn't really get to get in arcade games.
Sure.
You mentioned Dig Dug like 1,000 times, which I have no idea what that is still. But is that your favorite arcade game of all time, Emmanuel?
No. It's not my favorite. But Dig Dug. This will play really well for the audio podcast. But Dig Dug is a fun, repetitive game, just like most of the games on Switch, which are basically you're repetitive, you're hitting whatever, Smash Brothers, all that stuff. But Dig Dug was it's like a puzzle game. You're basically going to try to pump up the dragons and make them burst, or go by the rocks and make them strategically fall. Like, it's a good game. And again, if you're into those vintage games, if you're into Donkey Kong and Miss Pac-Man, all those, Dig Dug was one of those games. That was one of those vintage games.
Pac-Man is the most overrated game of all time. I said it.
Yeah, but it was when it was there at the beginning. It was revolutionary. Okay, and it's still something that brings back good memories. When you had to go into your mom's purse to get some quarters and go to the video arcade, right? And then
wait. So you stole from your poor mom to go
I
to feed your game hack?
Yeah, the way you presented it, you were definitely not asking.
So we just want to say before we go any more with this show that children do not steal coins from anybody, including your mom, to feed your game habits. But go on.
Are there even arcades that you can put quarters in anymore? Like,
I don't
know.
Where?
Of course.
Not in Canada. There's none in Canada.
Well,
you can't even go outside in Canada.
That's because you guys are uncivilized in Canada. And also, you're not even Canadian, according to Ton. He just said you're America.
Yeah. Right, apparently, yeah. Or it's just there's just a border there, but it's not really existing.
But does anyone else have any arcade games that they really enjoy from their past or present?
Well, first I want to give a shout out to Fun Spot. I know McKinley loves Fun Spot too in New Hampshire. It's a huge. McKinley, is it the biggest arcade?
They have a sign that says "World's Biggest Arcade" inside of it. Arcade.
And you
I don't
can
know if it
still
is.
go there, whether you're Canadian, American, North American, as Ton would say, to go play these games still. So one game that I always navigate to is NBA Jam, baby. That game was so fun, and it's still really fun.
That's a really good game. And I think they've remastered it on like consoles. It still looks, like the old school NBA Jam, but that's definitely a cult classic.
Yeah. What team would you be, Trudeau, for NBA Jam?
Obviously, Orlando Magic, man. It was Penny and Shaq, I believe, was the duo you got, right?
Yeah, that was the days, man. Michael Jordan wouldn't put his name on anything, so the Bulls fans would get like Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc or something stupid. So that would suck for them, but it'd give us an easy way to the Eastern Championship.
So my favorite arcade game, which I don't believe actually, I never saw it as an arcade game, like, with the joysticks or whatnot, but they made it for PlayStation original, was Rampage. I don't know if is anyone familiar with the Rampage games?
I remember it. Yeah, I remember it.
And for those who are unfamiliar, basically you are a mutated animal. So like you're a giant gorilla like King Kong or, Godzilla. You just break buildings and punch the things down. It's just pretty much you're on a rampage destruction of a city. It's really fun.
Wasn't there the movie that was based on that too, called Rampage with The Rock? Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, and the building fell, and he was in a helicopter, and in order to slow himself down, he fell with the building. It, of course, is very plausible. But go ahead.
Now I got another one after this. The Ninja Turtle game. Did you guys ever play that one?
That's popular.
Really, Trudeau?
Not an
McKinley.
arcade.
No, the arcade theme. You're just.
I played it once in barcade in Salem, Mass. And that was it.
Nice.
And it was fine. I mean, you're talking about. Did you play it a lot?
Yeah, that one. The X-Men game was a popular one. The Simpsons game. There was a ton of them that you couldn't keep going until you made all the bad guys disappear. Those were the best, man. That's where pressure comes from when you're playing games, because if you lose, there goes everything. You have no more change to continue.
So outside of Rampage, which Rampage I never actually saw in arcade, an actual arcade game that I played that I really enjoyed, it's really old school, and Emmanuel might appreciate this. I'd like the Space Invaders game.
Yeah.
That's a really fun, good one. That's challenging too.
Well, you had Space Invaders, you had Galaga, you had those type of games, which was quite good because that was also revolutionary when you had kind of the level ups, right? So you'd shoot one of them that captured your ship, and then you would have now double shots, right? And then all those genres of those types of shooter games became very popular, and they're very fun, right? So I like them. I agree with you. Those are actually pretty fun.
And hopefully this will be interesting. So Space Invaders is historically known for how it gets faster as you defeat more enemies. It kind of gets faster and faster and faster and faster when there's less enemies on the screen. So it was the first instance of a game getting harder sort of as you continued. So the claim is that was a glitch, just because there was less objects on the screen to render. The computer would render it faster, and they were just all right, let's just go with it. That works, and that's a staple in every game. Every game gets harder as you continue now. It's not just shooting it.
Yeah, but it did get faster through the levels, right? So it did get faster.
It was the same thing every time. It was the same thing. It's just your defenses weakened because your defenses wouldn't restore, right?
Yeah, I didn't notice it that way, but yeah.
I also enjoy any game that you can actually physically hold a gun, like a shooter arcade game. Any game, I don't care what the actual game in itself is, but any game where you could have the gun. Oh, actually, you know what? I take that back. One of my favorite shooting games of all time and favorite arcade game, erase my previous answer, is Big Game Hunter, the Buck Hunter games.
So
those were the days, man.
The thing about that is that we went down to Seattle to visit. And again, when we're out there for business meetings and stuff like that, we'd go to the bar or whatever, and there'd always be a big hunter
Always.
game. Always. And it was so much fun. And you'd know the Americans and the Canadians, because the Americans would be there and they'd be getting the rabbits and like literally the grasshopper or whatever, they like the smallest thing they could get, and they could pretty much get any of the game. The Canadians that were playing couldn't even shoot the tree that was standing still. So it was very bad for us, but it was a lot of fun.
I feel like you're just making us seem to be like a bunch of savages who like shooting things.
What, am I wrong?
I mean, you're not wrong, but you're just an asshole.
Well, no. I'm a nice Canadian. Remember, I'm a nice Canadian, right? Okay,
That's how Canada became a country. We sent all of our bad shooters up there or whatever. Ben, I have a quick question for you. What's the hardest game you've ever played? I would love to hear from you. What is the hardest game that you're like that made you frustrated and upset, annoyed?
Hardest game. That's really hard to say for me. Because a lot of the like hard games, I was just bad.
I'll jump in while Ben thinks about that. I tried playing Portal once, and that game is just frustrating, man. Like, it's not that fun. Like, you're stuck in a room, you have to solve these puzzles. Like, I'm not a big fan of puzzle games. I like more of like open world RPGs sort of thing. But the puzzle games, like Portal, man, those are frustrating as hell.
What about McKinley?
I think I think Dead Souls is a popular, like, difficult game. Like, Dead Souls is like I never actually played it, but I've heard from everyone like that's the hardest game they've ever played. Dead Souls and Dead Souls 2.
Is that the game where, like, if you get hit once, you die? Like, there's always a game on Reddit that's very popular.
It's something like that, but you respawn like just right before you died anyway. So like the idea is like it's going to be hard, but you respawn right back anyway. I'm not sure honestly, but something like that.
Well, I know Ben was having a tough time finding out what his the game that gave him the most challenging, and we actually never asked this question last week, and I think it's probably the most important question of all is like, what's your favorite game of all time? Like, we didn't even get into that, which is crazy because like that's the number one question to have. So I'll give Ben the floor for this one since he's ready for it.
All right. So my favorite game of all time is probably Splatoon 2 at the moment, but probably going to be Splatoon 3 in like 1 year. But it's probably one of my favorite games due to the fact that it's a unique shooter. It's not like every other shooter. It's not super easy, but it's not super hard. It's not like you don't have to be super skilled to be able to play this game against other players. And also just overall the single player content and just overall the content like given in the game is it's actually like really good. I think it's the thing that really got me to like this game was its art style and the music, and of course the gameplay as well.
Yeah, I've never heard of Splatoon at all. I guess I'm uncivilized though.
You must be.
No, I could say
American.
compared to
You're
like
uncivilized American.
other licenses, Splatoon is very much a hidden gem of Nintendo, because it's a big franchise now, but it was really hard for what was the thing? I guess on the Wii U, Splatoon 1, it was okay at the beginning, but then it started like getting a lot of attention, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say the anomaly of Splatoon was that usually when a game comes out, they have their biggest week of sales and then it slowly drops off. Splatoon sales went up and up every single week, and it just kept going for like a long time, for like a year. Like people just kept buying it more and more. It's because no one had a Wii U either. Like no one even knew a Wii U existed. Like what's a Wii U, right? You guys don't know, do you?
Yeah. Wait, I know what we had one.
Well,
we had
a Wii, not a Wii U.
No, not a Wii U, but a Wii. We had a Wii, and it was like the sports game that came with it, and grandmother and everybody in your family kind of plays that. It was
the sports game, exactly.
It was, yeah.
So, Mick, is you also Splatoon is your favorite game or not?
No, I love Splatoon, but it's not my favorite. I don't even know what my favorite game is. I mean, I'll just say one of my favorite. I mean, we talked about it last week. I love Zelda: A Link to the Past. I mean, that game's fantastic. It's got everything you need. I don't know what to say. The story's great, gameplay's great. It's long, it's fun, it's hard. You know, I don't think anyone will disagree with that pick. That's a good pick.
For me, like that's a tough answer because I don't have like one favorite game, but I always loved the Final Fantasy series. Like that was one of my jams. I like that there's a storyline, though it's very strange at times. And I had a tough time when I was thinking about this, like of all of the numbers, which one would be my favorite? And it's for me, it's between 8 and 10. And I think I'd have to give the edge to 10, only because I really love how you can develop the characters. It's like really unique, the development system. And also, I stopped playing Final Fantasy pretty much after that because I'm a big turn-based guy. I don't like the games to be super fast and like overwhelming. And I like the fact that 10 told you like when you were going to go. Like it had a synchronistic of the turn based. It told you exactly who was going, so you could sit there and strategize. Like, all right, if I do this, then that, then this, and then so you could really think about what your plan was going to be. So I really enjoyed that.
So can I ask what character you were in Dungeons and Dragons then?
Dude, you asked this in a text message, and I have no idea anything about Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know what you're talking about.
If you like turn-based games, you never played Dungeons and Dragons. Come on.
Is that a board game?
It's not a board game. It's a mind game, and it's basically you have the dungeon master that basically has a book, and you each have your own characters, and you can have. That's where Gandalf comes in, right? You can be an elf, you can be a druid, you can be a cleric to heal, you can be a warrior, a chaotic elf, like whatever you want.
I know Mikey wants to get in, but I don't. I've never played this type of game at all. This Dungeons and Dragons you're talking about, but I have played Skyrim quite a bit, and no matter how I start my character build, I always end up in one particular area, no matter what. Right? If I start off as a warrior, that like a tank, whatever is that what the term is, I end up by going the other way. Same thing with if I try magic, I go the other way. I love being sneaky, stealthy, stealing every time.
You would totally love Dungeons and Dragons, and it's in the best console in the world. Like it's the best console in the world. Your mind,
Commodore 64.
Your mind.
By the way, I looked up Commodore 64 after our last talk, that's not like a gaming system. It's like a computer.
No. Yeah, it's a computer, but that's where people like me who basically had to learn how to do gaming or build your own little games or build your own little program. That's how I learned programming, was through Commodore 64. And it was like I literally bought it with every penny I had, and it was a great thing to learn.
So, Emmanuel, is your favorite game on the Commodore 64 of all time?
No. Again, I'm vintage games, but I do remember all of these. Like, you guys remember the Dragon's Lair and stuff like that, like the video laser disc game. You never played that? It's like these are the games that I remember. These were all the vintage games. So this is in the genre of like the Donkey Kongs and the Pac-Mans, and then you had this amazing storytelling Pixar type of game that you're in. You're basically the swords swashbuckling whatever knight, and depending on whether you went to the left or the right, and you picked your next move, the story then would continue. But it's a full featured film, like an animated film, and that was the first of its kind. So I remember that game quite well, and I did fairly well with it. It's actually quite good. Even today, if you looked at it, you say that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. And again, I'm older than all of you.
Well, you actually jarred my memory when you mentioned the Laserdisc, because I was thinking of back to Final Fantasy. Is it crazy that back in the day with those games, like you had multiple discs? Like one game had to be put on 4 discs because it was so massive. Like that's bananas.
Yeah. Well, and today you pretty much have the entire gaming system on your phone now, right? Like at the end of the day, you pretty much can actually have all of the games that you would have ever had. You can pretty much play them on your phone now, right? With unlimited memory. I
think it came down to specifically Final Fantasy. Just they had those like CGI like videos, like that just took up a lot of memory. Like if they didn't have those CGIs, you probably could have fit it all in like half of a disc, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like that.
I was always scared shitless when you had to switch the disc out too. I felt like as soon as I pulled it out, the game was going to crash. I was going to lose everything. It never did though. It always worked, but it was scary. So Mikey, aka Ninja's third cousin, you never gave us your answer about what your favorite game was.
My favorite game is GoldenEye or MLB The Show, baby. Very simple. I know that McKinley and Saya Fox do not like sports games, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Oh wait, go ahead, McKinley. What sports games do you like?
I like Techno Bowl. Techno Bowl 3. Julian's gotta know about Techno Bowl 3.
What was your favorite team on Techno Bowl?
Yeah, I'll take whatever you can give me, man. I'll do whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter.
I think it's Tecmo, by the way, not
Yeah, I
Techno
always
Bowl.
say it wrong. It's Tecmo Bowl.
Those are two very different games. The Techno Bowl is very different.
Techno Bowl.
There's a lot more drugs in the Techno Bowl.
Yeah,
McKinley only likes Wii Sports. That's the closest thing.
sports game.
Yo, Wii Sports is great. Don't knock Wii Sports until you've tried it.
I have played
I
Wii
know.
Sports.
Yeah,
What's
it's
your
pretty
favorite Wii Sports game?
The tennis game.
Tennis.
That's by far the best one. Bowling's fun too.
I was gonna say
But
bowling's
tennis?
pretty popular.
Tennis was awesome. Like that's when you knew you were good or not.
Yeah, if I'm gonna play a sports game, I don't want it to be. I would just want it to be fun. I don't care if it's realistic. I don't want to play real soccer. If I'm gonna play real soccer, I'm gonna go outside and play real soccer.
Are you though?
Yes.
Yeah. With who, McKinley? Do you get all your neighbors in play a soccer game?
Gee, no, I don't give a shit. We play soccer. We play football on my parts. Real football, American football.
Oh, I
Wow,
don't know
shots
who's
fired.
that crack out.
real football. And then you go talk to anybody in Europe,
know.
around the world, and it's not real football. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's be very clear.
Coming from the guy,
Football.
who wanted us to talk about hockey before the podcast.
What? I never said.
No,
No, Mick was
Oh, you
all
did?
about
It's
hockey.
not always about you, Julian. God.
Do I have to go on this podcast without my shirt then, or my
Oh
tank
my
top?
God. Please
I think I have
don't.
I think I have.
Feel
No,
free if that's what you want to do. No one's gonna stop you.
What Julian
There
did.
goes all our viewership, all our 7 poor people.
I actually wanted to talk about something else. So I want to talk about the game that you really enjoyed that wasn't like super popular or well known to other people. Because I have a couple that I really enjoy, and I don't know if anyone else is going to know. Mick might know. Mick will know one of them, but I don't know about you other guys. So have you ever heard of Legend of Legaia? No, right? That's like super like weird, like PS1 game, dude. It was the shit. Mick, you know about that, right?
Legend of Legaia is one of the most underrated RPGs of all time. Straight up.
Yo, so like when you fought, it was like a fighting game. When you fought people, like you had to hit up, down, left, or right, and you had to do certain combinations to do like special moves. You can do like an uppercut or like do like a pile driver if you do a certain right combination, dude. It was amazing.
And as your character like leveled up, you could do more buttons in a move. So up, down, up is one, like you said. Then as you get further on in the game, you can do like 6 things at a time.
It's amazing.
This reminds me of a TV show I once watched called Jericho.
Yo, I'm surprised you remember that. I used to like that show. I got canceled.
Trudeau's the only person to like a show that got canceled twice, Emmanuel.
No,
It's
but-
canceled twice, not once, but twice.
If I ever want to know something that's not popular and will get canceled, I just pretty much follow Trudeau's lead. Like that's why he's so big into Bitcoin and
Oh, get
currency,
out of
and
here.
it's all gonna go to shit now. I guarantee you, it's all going to shit now because Trudeau is in it.
Emmanuel is just a hater because he missed the boat and he's not going to get any
Didn't
of that
miss a
Bitcoin
boat.
money.
I didn't miss a boat. I'm just telling you, there's no boat. That's a.
You're
that's
right, it's a train.
It's a
More
sinking
powerful
thing.
than a boat.
Okay, so you were talking about games. Now, I was actually Saya Fox actually introduced me to this game, and I don't play it very much, but I thought it was quite interesting to watch, and it was actually pretty scary. Is Little Nightmares, and Little Nightmares 2 is actually the one that just came out. If you haven't played it, oh yeah, that's because it's on the PS5. Oh yeah, sorry. guys. No, so Saya Fox, what about
Are you allowed outside yet? There in Canada, or are you still stuck in your house?
No, we're still stuck in the house.
Okay, never mind. So that's why you have all the time to play
Yeah.
PS5. Go ahead, Cy Fox. What were you saying?
I think my dad was trying to like just make me explain what Little Nightmares kind of was because he like I introduced it to him. It was it's like a puzzle platformer horror adventure game, and it's like it has a really good and deep story, and it has like a good amount of like I guess creepiness, eeriness, and all that for like a horror game, but it's not like in your face kind of trying to be scary. it has that good amount of like suspense, suspense and eeriness.
Like there's in the second scene, or pretty much the second phase of the gameplay when you're playing, there's a butcher, and he's all in everything's in the dark, so he's basically with flashlight, and he's basically chopping off the head of something, and he then hears you, and you're this little guy that is going down and trying to sneak past, and then when he hears you, he goes out and starts shooting, and he starts shooting the shotgun at you in the dark, and so it's actually quite good. It's very well done. That's all I'm saying and it was very surprisingly well done.
So I actually want to throw in one more thing. It's one of my favorite underrated games, like games that no one knows about of all time, and people might know. So I know Cyfox knows this game, and you jogged my memory with the whole creepy thing. Outside of Cyfox, has anyone ever played Binding of Isaac, or have you heard of the game? Mick, you've heard of it. Cy, give me the rundown. What do you think about it?
Oh, it's a really good game. Since it's endless, it literally like has so much replayability. It's a bullet hell game essentially, right? And
what'd you call it? Bullet hell?
A bullet hell. It's basically what is it? There's a lot of projectiles that you have to just dodge, right? And you also have to shoot at the same time. It's technically a bullet hell.
I've never heard of that term. I'm not a gamer, so I don't know all these terminologies.
You're not with the times. You're not with like these youngsters.
Oh,
right?
okay, calm down. Yeah, what are you talking about?
Go play your Commodore 64 and stay in your locked house.
And his Google free games, whatever the hell he was talking about.
Stadia. You try it. I guarantee you like it. Okay.
Yeah.
And Mick, this is why Emmanuel was thrilled Ton was here last week, because we all bullied Ton. When Ton's not here, we all just gang up on Emmanuel.
We need to get Ton back. I'm going to Facebook him right now and tell him to see if he can join.
But I love Binding of Isaac. It's a game that it's great because it's so random and so unpredictable. Every time you play it, there's like a different course, different level ups. Everything's completely randomized every time, so you never know what's going to happen. You never know how your guy's going to progress and what type of character you'll create throughout the game. So from that aspect, I love it because like I can play it a billion times and I'll never get bored with it. Never. And I've probably played more Binding of Isaac than Gracie's played Animal Crossing. No lie, probably more 300 hours. Great game. So does anyone else want to jump in as far as like a game that they loved that maybe other people might not know about? Because I threw a couple out. Go ahead, Mick.
I don't think anyone's gonna know about this. World of Goo. People know what World of Goo is, but no one here has played World of Goo.
World of Warcraft?
World of Goo.
Inappropriate. That sounds like something Emmanuel plays every Sunday.
After the podcast, he's gonna play a little World of Goo.
No.
In the bathroom.
Dungeons and Dragons, guys.
Check out World of Goo. Okay. Untitled Goose Game. I'm not even gonna talk about rules. I'm just gonna put it out there. World of Goo. Untitled Goose Game. Anyone played Untitled Goose Game?
What the hell are you doing in your basement? On
Goose Game is funny as heck.
See?
It's a stupid game. It really has no purpose other than to be funny, and it's really entertaining.
You're a goose, and you have a checklist of things you need to do around like your town, and it's basically just like
attack people?
The gardener's keys, or break into the restaurant, eat someone's hamburger, and like all you can do is
shit out of people.
Yeah, all you can do is squawk and like bite things.
Now I have a question, because when you mentioned the Goose Game, I thought about one thing that I always see as far as like on the PlayStation Store. Has anyone ever played Goat Simulator?
Ooh, that's an old game. I remember.
Is it good? Because I don't know what it is, but it's always on the PlayStation Store.
It's a good nostalgia trip for like someone who played it when they were younger. But I'd say it's like, to be brutally honest, it's actually not that good.
It's a gag, but it's funny.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. There's a lot of like funny ragdoll physics, all that. It's just that.
I've got a list here. I'm just kidding. Okay, no one's played Samurai Gun, right? No one's played Nidhogg. No. Okay, Katamari. This one, everyone knows this game. Katamari Damacy. Everyone knows Katamari Damacy. That was on the PlayStation demo disc. You're a little dude. You're like this small, okay? And you start with a ball, and you have to roll things up in the world, and your ball gets bigger and bigger as you roll things up. Next thing you know, your ball is like as big as like islands, and you're swallowing entire villages and like towns.
That doesn't even sound fun.
So much fun.
It's like, yeah, you rolling a ball is eating shit. Like that's the game. Deal with it.
It's level based, and there's a time limit. And your dad is the king of all cosmos. He's got like rainbows flowing out of his ears. It's really trippy, dude. It's pretty fun though.
I think you and Emmanuel have similar video game tastes. That's all I'm gonna say.
No.
Everyone in the chat who plays video games is like, this kid knows what he's talking about. I'm telling you.
So, do you guys, Emmanuel or Mikey, do you have any games that maybe that you like that people wouldn't know about? Like, I don't know about the World of Goo or whatever, but anything else?
I like the Goo game.
Goo.
Emmanuel
Google
loves
Goo
the
game.
Goo game.
Google the Goo game, and you'll see it comes up as like 10 stars.
If you Google the Goo game, you might end up on a watch list of the FBI.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
think
saying.
I can't actually do that. Yeah. It's
Ben,
not-
did I get your input as far as this goes?
No, actually, I don't think so. I guess a kind of hidden gem that I found recently, well, not recently, I'd say last year, is a game called One Shot. It's on Steam. It's a puzzle, a 2D puzzle adventure game. It's a small indie game, and it's a very interesting one because do you know like I guess Earthbound or Mother or
Oh yeah,
Undertale?
it's a great game.
It's a very similar thing to that, but without like a kind of fighting system. It's just a puzzle thing, but it's very interesting because you have, just like Undertale, you have to go through a lot of different playthroughs to experience the whole game. And with it, you have to like meddle with the files sometimes, or the files will just get changed all around. And near the end, the game will end up deleting itself and all that. Basically, it's a very interesting concept in games, and there's very few that actually get it right.
That's trippy.
So someone mentioned the Saboteur in the chat room. Has anyone heard of that game before? Saya or Mick? No. I just figured I'd give a shout out because somebody threw out there. But Saya, you mentioned something that actually triggered my memory. What's the game where you have to like let people into the country? It's like a passport game, whatever. I think it's in like Russia or something like that. You have to like either decide to let people in or out, and like you can get like in trouble for letting the wrong people in.
Wait, isn't that the Trump administration?
Oh god.
Like, wasn't that the game that you guys just played for 4 years?
I wish I knew the actual game, but I mean, it sounds pretty similar. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's what you guys are playing to us right now. We can't come to Canada.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So I think we've kind of milked that dry. Does anyone have anything they wanna throw out? There's any games that they want to just discuss and throw out? Because I
Wait,
got
can you say-
one.
Can you say that phrase again, just real quick?
What phrase? We've milked that one dry. When you milk a topic dry, it means there's no more. It's bare bones.
Oh, thanks.
You ever heard of that?
Thanks,
Is that-
thanks,
is that
Brokemeyer. Go ahead, Brokemeyer.
Brockmeyer?
Yeah, Brokemeyer.
Brock.
Broke. Brokemeyer for you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Nick, what do you got?
Did we talk about like worst games we ever played, or like games that we just like thought were terrible? I don't know if that's interesting.
I don't know. You got anything good?
Games that let us down, dude. Fable 2 was honestly, I despise Fable 2.
What was the Fable game where you had to like overthrow like this monarch, and then like at the end you actually realized that they were collecting all this money because they were trying to fight this unseen force? Is that Fable 3?
I have no idea. It must have been 2 because I haven't finished it because it sucked.
That sounds like GameStop's position.
What's that? Take all the money?
Take all the money and have nothing. I actually have a real game though
Okay.
that let me down, and Emmanuel will be with me on this one. Pokemon Snap, absolutely
No.
terrible.
No.
Absolutely
that's a good
terrible.
game. Nah. Don't disparage
With-
Pokemon Snap.
Are you talking about like the original on the N64?
Yeah, the original.
That was dope.
That was crazy, bro.
You mean
Yeah.
good, right?
There was
Crazy?
no
Yeah,
fighting.
it was good. It was
Mike,
good.
I'm with Mike. I'm
I
with
think
Mike.
you're wrong, Mikey.
No, it was terrible. There was no fighting, no nothing.
Why did that make
Did you know what you bought? Hold on. It's not like they were lying to you. The game specifically was like, "Hey, you're gonna take
It doesn't
photos
say
of
Pokemon
That's
Snap
it."
and battles.
He's like, "Yeah, sure. Where's the
He
fight?"
didn't even
That's like-
have a beginning
hold
Pokemon
on.
or anything.
Mikey, that's like going to KFC, all right, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and being mad they
I
didn't
like
have
where this
donuts.
is going.
Why
What?
didn't they have donuts? Well, they didn't. They're not selling you donuts. Like
You know
that's
the
on
right
you.
KFCs, you can find donuts.
I don't know what type of donuts you're looking for at KFC. I don't want anything to do with that, though, man.
Pokemon Snap. I'm telling you guys. Disappointment as a kid.
I think what happened was you actually wanted to buy Pokemon Stadium, and you got the wrong game.
I had Pokemon Stadium and I already won it. That's why I got Pokemon Snap, thinking that would be a new challenge, and it wasn't. It was me taking stupid pictures around. I was better off following a manual as a kid taking pictures. It was more interesting.
So does anyone else have a game that they were disappointed by besides Pokemon Snap?
I do, and it's a more recent
Oh,
game. And the hype with Cyberpunk. Okay, so I literally played it for maybe 15 minutes, and I spent $75 on it.
Oof.
And yeah, it was like ridiculous. Well, that's
Expensive.
Canadian, so that's like $30 American.
Okay.
But yeah, and it was like not impressive. It's it didn't glitch on me as much as people were complaining, but I didn't find that I got into it. And there was a lot of hype, right? So everybody was thinking that this thing's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you know, I'm big on bread, but anyways, but that's yeah.
We can
But,
tell by your figure.
Yeah, my girl figure.
I'm just kidding.
Man,
I'm just kidding.
Trudeau.
Don't be throwing rocks if you live in a glass house. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man.
Oh, guns came out. The gun show.
No, Emmanuel, you look great, buddy, and I'm proud of you. You went out biking this week, did you not?
I did on the weekend. Yeah.
How many miles did you knock down?
I don't want to say.
105. Lance Armstrong.
No, less than 5 kilometers.
I'm sorry. I don't even know what that means. Is that like 5 feet? What's a kilometer?
A kilometer. So what is it? 1 mile is 2.5 kilometers.
Okay, so it's like 2 miles or so.
Miles. Yeah, I didn't go very
That's
far.
good.
Yeah, I just got out.
I'm just kidding, man. I love you, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
I feel like I cut you deep there. I was just kidding.
No. I'm a big boy.
Okay, awkward segue now.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I did not listen to 1 minute of that because Mookie Betts just got called out. Sorry. So anyway, go ahead. What are we doing? Any hoodles?
Cyfox has a game that was disappointing, right?
No, I haven't said one yet. I guess a game that was really disappointing because it took 6 years to make, apparently. After an amazing release the year prior, Sonic Forces. It was, what is it? They had the game before was a classic. It was a classic like 2D Sonic game, right? Sonic Mania, and it was like amazing and like, oh hey, Sega's actually making good Sonic games again. Whoa! And Sonic Forces came out the year after 2019, 2020, and it flopped. It was probably worse than I'd say Sonic Forces is probably one of the worst like Sonic games that to date, due to the fact that it feels like the story writing was lazy. The gameplay was very, very linear, and you just had to press one button to win. And the overall experience is only 2 hours, full game.
So I just want to apologize to the folks watching live on Reddit because I'm a little delayed as far as my phone updating your comments. But someone did help me out with the name of the game I was talking about, the letting people in and out of the border. It's called Papers, Please. Have you heard of that? No, still nothing. Okay, so that's probably why you gave me no help earlier. And then someone mentioned that Ancestors was the biggest disappointment in the history of Earth. I don't know what that game is. Have you heard of Ancestors at all?
No.
I know Ancestors.com. That's really good one.
That's Ancestry.
Well, clearly we didn't know about it because it was such a disappointment. One game that I liked that was kind of looked at as a disappointment was No Man's Sky. That game's pretty cool. I mean, it depends what you were looking for. There wasn't much to it as far as like depth of the game, but it was really unique and ambitious. Basically, like you're in outer space and they created this giant world where there was like trillions of planets, and literally you can travel to all of them, and it's just so massive. And not only can you travel to all of these planets, but like these planets are shared on a server with everybody, so you could travel to the same planet I went to. It's just very ambitious and massive, so like it feels extremely amazing to be in space and travel around, but the gameplay gets boring very quickly because it's very repetitive. So that's the only knock on it.
And to make it clear, like what's important about that is that the people who made the game don't know what the planets are either. Like they didn't make trillions of planets, right? It was like
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, no one knows what
Yeah.
all the planets are and where they are and what's on them and whatever.
So, Emmanuel, you might appreciate this technology, guys. So basically, they generated this giant world by using random generation, and they pretty much put everything into a box, like the way the planets are constructed and all the animals on the planet and the plants. It gets shaken up and it just generates all of this stuff. So it's just this giant randomly generated galaxy.
That's cool. I would play something like that. But again, but it sounds like it's like you probably have to invest a lot of time in, right? Like you'd literally have to basically go through traveling from world to world, or because I've never played it, so I don't know. But I would get into probably.
It's very fun. Like the first 20 hours is really fun. Like what I recommend is to play it at night. Close all the windows, turn off all the lights, so you feel like you're in space because it's very dark because like you're in outer space. Maybe smoke a little weed, and then just play the game, and it is fucking like it'll blow your mind. I'm telling you right now, it's pretty wild.
Okay.
How are you gonna say you like No Man's Sky, but you're like, oh, well, I want my graphics to be super realistic? Isn't it like cell shaded? Doesn't it have like an artsy style to it?
It does, but like I'm not playing No Man's Sky to like be blown away by the graphics. It's more of like being immersed in this giant world. So like Skyrim, like the graphics aren't the best, but like you're in this giant world. You feel like you're immersed into this different place and time.
So get Switch because you'll be fine playing Zelda and playing Mario, which I wanted to get back.
Can I just say my only thing about Nintendo is just so insistent on just being like leaning on what they know. They don't do anything new. It's like, well, what do we got to do? We got to make a new game. What are we gonna do? How about we put our new Mario game out? Okay, let's put a 15,000th Mario game out.
Splatoon was the answer to that. Splatoon was a whole new series, a whole new franchise, a whole new IP that's like not like any other game that they've ever made. And that's what they do. They make a game, right? Oh, we're going to make a platform. Well, let's not make another platform because Mario is our platformer. Anytime we make a platform, it's going to be Mario. Anytime we make an action adventure game, it's going to be Zelda. But Zelda Breath of the Wild is not like any other Zelda you've ever played before. It's more like Skyrim, if anything, honestly. And Mario Odyssey is, more like Mario 64, but it's got like so much more than any other Mario game you've ever played. They have all their genres. Like they have a game for every genre, so they don't need to make more games, is the thing. Except for Splatoon, they didn't have a shooter.
Look, I'm telling you right now, Diddy Kong, I think that you would actually really like playing Dungeons and Dragons sometime. I honestly think we should do a Dungeons and Dragons podcast where we try to teach you how to play Dungeons and Dragons. I think we should do it.
Listen, Emmanuel, I know you've tried this with all your friends, but nobody wants to play Dungeons and Dragons with you.
I'm gonna be sick that day. I can already feel it.
Fox, what you got for me, man?
I want to add something regarding the new IPs, like with Nintendo and all that. I feel like something that is an interesting choice that they made was putting two of the same new series, like Splatoon, right? Because in Splatoon 1, they that was on the Wii U, right? And it was like a big hit for the Wii U, of course, not too big. Then Splatoon 2, it was on the Nintendo Switch. But then they also put Splatoon 3 on the Nintendo Switch. Basically they're killing their second game. Of course, people will still play it. Just like people still play Splatoon 1, surprisingly. It's actually still a really big community. But I feel like that's something that they shouldn't really be doing to like IPs like their newer ones.
I put a note on here that we didn't. I want to actually get everyone to agree on this, hopefully. Nintendo 64, best console ever?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
That was such a lukewarm answer by Ben. He's like, yeah, it's
pretty good.
I had such a strong statement, like, best ever. Ben's just like...
I unfortunately didn't get to play it that much. I got to play at like a barber shop every time I get to get my hair cut, but I never owned one.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to get my haircut there. That sounds pretty sweet.
Did have that. I remember that. Yeah, but Ben has access to any gaming console that he wants, right? So the reality
now
is
I do.
He does compare it, even the VR stuff with the Oculus, which is pretty cool. But go ahead.
I'll agree that it was like the most important console. It was the first home 3D console, the first with like an analog input. Like the joystick was big, right? And then Sony stole it and they just made another controller with two joysticks. They're like, "Oh, you got one joystick? I'm gonna make one
Whoa.
with 2 joysticks." Like, yeah, like,
Crazy. Okay, wait. You guys are shitting on me for my
Oh
my
god,
Commodore
no
64.
more Dungeons and
Okay,
Dragons.
but the Commodore 64 wasn't important. It was one of the most important gaming console. Well, not gaming, but computers that came out so that you could actually build your own games. So again, then you have the important ones, but then you have the best ones. Okay, so which one are we talking about? The best ones or the most important ones?
I think you got to be best for its time. You know, I think you have to take it in context of the time that it came out at too. Did it have a rumble? Did the Commodore 64 have a rumble pack?
No, it had
N64 had a rumble pack.
the keyboard was built into the computer. Like that's what it did.
Yo,
Yeah.
I'm so glad gaming systems evolved past the point of needing a save pack or like a memory card, because those were the worst, man. Mikey, you're shaking your head. You know all
Oh
about that.
my god. Like, what are you gonna do? Spend $50 on a stupid memory card or whatever it was, or you're gonna buy a game? You're gonna buy the damn game. So I know McKinley was talking to us after the show last week that there was a game that you guys didn't have a memory card for,
Well-
and you had to like not step. Well, tell that
Let me
story.
just tell you about this, okay? So very few people will know this. Probably no one listening will know this. But Super Nintendo had a game, a Jurassic Park game, and it was the shit. Okay, you killed dinosaurs. Your goal was to get all the dinosaur eggs so they couldn't reproduce and get the hell off the island. But the problem is, it's a very long game. I would say it probably takes like 15 hours to play to beat. But the game had no save points. You're not allowed to save the game. So like you would play the game and to beat it, you'd have to leave the game on overnight. It was the worst, dude. I'm telling you, the worst.
But it was super cool because when you're outside of like any building, it's a top-down sort of like Zelda game. You can shoot and stuff, you know. But when you go into the building, it becomes a first-person shooter. Like there's not many games that switch genres in the middle of it.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty
How
cool.
did it? Did you
I
win,
know
Trudeau?
Banjo-Kazooie
Did you guys?
did
Oh
win?
yeah. So at the very end, you get on the plane with all the eggs and you fly off the island because someone picks you up in the helicopter. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And can I just say, those headbutt dinosaurs that would run into you with their head, those suckers are the worst in the game.
Because all your guns shoot too fast and they're all running around. But
Yeah.
but the end of the game was so anticlimactic. You play it for like 15 hours. You keep your game on. You go to bed. You wake up. You finally beat it, and then it's just like this weird 2-dimensional like island that's just like it's just a shape. It looks like a green Africa, and it just says Jurassic Park on it. And it just goes away in the distance. Like that's the end of the game. You go to the helicopter pad and it just goes with a helicopter. You're playing it for like 12 hours and you get nothing out of it. There's no like explosion or like victory song. The game just ends.
So I had under the N64, because we were talking about N64, one of the best, most underrated games of all time, which I think people know of this game and they think fondly of it, but no one ever talks about it. Banjo-Kazooie. That game slapped, man. One of the best games of all
Yeah,
time.
It was a really good game. It reminded me a lot of Mario 64, but it had its
But better.
own. It had its own charm to it, and it was really good.
I just always make the bird noise. Or something like that. Yeah, there you go.
Always every day you gotta like do the thing where the chicken walks, like you flip it upside down so the bear's upside down, the chicken's walking for you. Emmanuel, do you know what we're talking about with this game
No.
at all?
Absolutely not. I have no idea. I've never played it.
Basically, it's like a bear and like
Who abuses a bird?
who abuses a bird.
It's
Yeah, I don't
he
think it would
holds
fly today.
It makes him shoot eggs out of his mouth. Fuck off! That's the name.
There's some weird games that you guys are playing, and they all take 15 to 20 hours to get into in order to enjoy it. These are not fun games.
Okay, Mr. Dungeons and
Stop
Dragons,
playing.
Mr. Dig Dug, get out of here.
The first 10 minutes of playing Dungeons and Dragons, you already are in the game. Okay, you're already excited because it's the best console ever. The mind.
Mega Man X. I don't know if that's underrated.
Oh yes.
Mega Man.
Mega Man X is just a perfect game. From beginning to end, I'm not saying it's the best game ever, but it's flawless. There's not anything wrong with Mega Man X.
Very true. It's a very good
Solid
game. I
game.
remember playing it even. It was a very good game. And it was really, really well done. Yeah, and again, very easy to play. But
Mikey,
very well
what game excites you besides baseball, Mookie Betts?
I have a quick question. Why did we go away from doing Skylanders? That game was like killing it for them.
Toys
you guys
Come
know
to life. Dude, Skylanders, I remember that.
Thank you,
Like,
Ben.
oh my god, that like I know I played it a lot, and I was super hype with the swap ones and the giants, and then after like the toys come to life kind of trend started getting repeated, I was like, oh damn, the other ones are cooler, even though in reality Skylanders probably did it the best.
Yeah, Trudeau, do you
Like-
know what Skylanders are?
I've
Ben,
never
can you
played
explain
Skylanders.
Ben, can you explain Skylanders to them?
Skylanders is kind of like a toys come to life. You have like these figurines that you can buy, and like as first you have like the base game, you get like 1 or 2 figurines that you, I guess, think of like the amiibos that Nintendo have now, right? You put them on like a portal that you connect to your console, and that acts like as a portal or gateway for the character that in the statue to get put into the game. And that was like the whole overarching storyline with it too. It's really
DLC,
interesting.
but you buy it in real life. You don't
You have to
download
buy it in real life, so it's a
You buy
collector's
it.
and a thing.
Yeah,
I can say that was the big drawback of those toys come to life thing. You have to buy like each character.
But that's what like made it awesome, because if
Yeah,
you
that's
wanted
what
a certain
made it
character, you would have to go get it. You'd have to physically go to the store, get some sunlight, and grab one, and then come back and play with it. And like, I thought it was an amazing idea.
it's a great marketing idea. I mean, you know what I mean? A kid goes into the store, there's actually a toy that is a video game.
So speaking of getting sunlight, I'm actually curious if any of you guys played this when it came out. It was a huge craze like 4 years ago. Any of you guys do Pokemon Go when it was like all the rage?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, lots
Team
of-
Blue, baby.
I didn't get into it because I didn't have data.
Oh, that hurts.
That was on purpose. That was my fault. I didn't give him data.
Did you have data there, Manuel?
I did, but you know what? Here's the thing. I went to one of these meetups where I went to go buy something. At a
Whoa.
You went to one of the meetups
wait.
with
Explain
like,
that.
with like 12-year-old
So
kids.
there's a park. There's a park, and I'm seeing a group of people just standing around in one corner of the park, and then all of a sudden they all shift to one side, and that they're doing Pokemon Go. I never got into it, and I'm so glad I never got into it.
Oh, so you did not play?
No, I just watched other people be idiotic and
Wait.
on the
To
park.
make it worse, you went to the park to watch kids play a game that weren't your kids.
No.
And Mike, you know what he was playing that whole time?
The
Goo
Goo
World
game.
or whatever.
Okay, wait. No. So,
You
but I do have a
sick
story about this.
bastard.
I do have a story about this park. Okay, wait. So this park that I would go to go get, and we would go get ice cream at this park. But it
Oh,
also
even
had a
worse.
squash-
So
a
you
squash
brought
court.
ice cream to the park.
No,
with all the
no,
kids
no,
playing
no.
Pokemon Go.
Wait,
This is the way. No. I know
You
how
should
it went
just stop.
down. Wait, Trudeau. I want to explain how it went down. Emmanuel shows up with his yellow T-shirt and the logo, and the kid said, "You can't play with us." So we went to get ice cream,
No.
and nobody wanted to hang out with him. So he's
Oh.
over there eating his little, Italian ice with his little spoon, while the other kids are playing
But-
Pokemon Go. And then he never played Pokemon Go again.
No, I never did. No, but there is some truth to this. There is some truth to this because I went there to get ice cream, and we figured out there's a squash court there that me and my best friend would go and play squash. And I went there in my shorts, and it was the fall, so it was and I was going there in my shorts, and I got pelted by these mean teenagers that were throwing snowballs at me. Not even a joke. They were and I'm like a grown man, but I was wearing shorts, and they were throwing snowballs. I mean, they hit me 4 times on my way back. Anyways, okay.
I have so much. First of all, I just want to throw out from the Reddit chat, and Mickey and Cyfox appreciate this. Someone said Psychonauts is a great game, but very underrated, and that's a good one. But back to the whole story from Emmanuel. I'm not even going to question what the kids are doing. All right.
Yeah.
My question is, are you really one of those people that go outside in shorts when there's snow on the ground? Because I have to question my friendship with you.
We were going to play squash, and I literally was at work, and I'd get changed at work and then go to play squash and go back to work. And it was like,
why was there snow
these kids
though?
were so mean. They threw snowballs at me, but this is the same park that they were playing Pokemon Go.
Right,
all
but
the
it goes
time.
back to the question: is why are you outside in shorts with there's snow on the ground? It's way too
It's snow
cold
on
for
the
any
ground,
out.
yes.
It's
This is
way too
Canada.
cold.
No, this is Canada. We do this all the time.
That's fair.
What
I mean,
did you-
there's snow on the ground like 11 out of 12 months in Canada.
Correct.
Did-
100%.
So you just walked away from the kids. You didn't like acknowledge. Did you just like pretend like it wasn't happening? Just like
My best friend was laughing at me because they were only hitting me, and they hit me 4 times in the back while I was going back to my office, and I was so pissed off.
Yeah,
Anyway,
what's the
you
play
didn't throw a
there?
snowball back at them.
no, that
I
would
feel
be
like that's the play.
you can't do that. I'm
No,
a
yeah, you
grown man.
can.
I'm gonna go and pelt like some teenagers, some kids with snowballs. No, I'd
Yes.
get arrested.
They just want
Yes.
a football fight.
No.
First of all,
I'd
this
get
is what you do.
arrested.
What you do is you make a snowball. Maybe you put a little rock in it. I'm not going to say how big the rock's going to be. Then you throw it back. They have no evidence that there was a rock in the snowball. Okay, you'll be fine.
Did you? Where do you put your trophy of Person of the Year award? Like, do you put that anywhere? Because
Right next to the biggest asshole award that I have on my shelf right there. They're all together.
I have very bad memories of Pokemon Go in that park and those mean kids with the snowman.
So that was a long way of saying no Pokemon Go for you.
No, absolutely. I have very bad memories of that.
I actually.
liked it at first.
What's that, Mick?
I liked it at first when you would just go to like any popular place and like everyone was on their phones. Like you were trying to drive and like people were just like on their phones. I mean, that's how it was at least where I was. Like, I mean, you went
Yeah, it was
went to,
any
like,
park. Any park in Toronto, you would drive by and you'd just see groups of people looking at their phones, and they'd go from one corner of the park, and then you'd see them shift over and then running off to the other part of the park. It was all over the place.
I actually want to segue because someone put a great question in the chat, and I actually would love to ask all of you guys this one because I think we've milked it dry, the video game talk a little bit. I like to use that term. I know Mike's shaking his head again, but someone asked what your favorite Adam Sandler movie is, and there's so many good ones to choose from. And I think by far, I know Mike's like, why? By far, the best Adam Sandler movie, without a doubt, has to be Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, happy.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
That's the answer, right?
Is that the golfing one?
Yes.
What about Billy Madison?
Billy Madison is dope as hell too.
Yeah.
That's probably top two.
but yeah, you can't. Come on,
It's
Billy
all
Madison's
in
great,
the hips.
but
It's all in the hips.
what a year to be born in. There was so many great Adam Sandler movies at that time too. Big Daddy was also really good.
Yeah, that was very good.
Let's-
Totally agree.
I like
Well,
Little Nicky. It was kind of
Yeah,
weird.
I liked Little Nicky. That's
My
the one I was
favorite
about
line
to say.
from Little Nicky is when he's like, "Popeye's chicken's fucking awesome."
I liked Robin Williams. School's for fools. Look at me.
Hip hop anonymous.
Well, that's Big Daddy.
That's
Hip Hop
Big Daddy.
Daddy.
Yeah.
And then- Well, I like I can't remember his name. It's Big Daddy, the hobo who you're not supposed to say.
Oh,
hobo.
Steve Buscemi.
the
Steve
homo
Buscemi.
In every
Steve
movie.
Buscemi.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi, and he's the McDonald's breakfast. He's like, the whole thing is, oh, well, I'll give you the burger if you pretend you're dead. You just go.
How much is Adam Sandler worth? He's incredible. Like he's got his own everything. It's like crazy now.
He's got to be doing pretty well. I can look it up while you guys chat. Adam Sandler.
But he's also one of the rare ones that he's actually a very good person too, right? Like if you hear the stories of him helping other people, and he's very genuine. And again, he helps his friends. It's like one day this podcast might be us doing an amazing film together or something like that, and it would be like that's what he did. He had his friends together and he did films.
So this is perfect, guys. I love how much his net worth is because it's perfect. He's worth $420 million.
Wow.
Jeez.
Perfect number for him. I love it.
Did you guys watch Uncut Gems? That was a really
Yeah,
good movie.
that was-
I heard it's actually good.
It's really good, Trudeau.
good.
It's really, it's
Yes.
very, it's gonna make you anxious when you watch it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
really, really good.
That's what I heard. It gets you like super anxious the whole
Yeah.
time,
Yep.
which I don't know if I want that out of a movie, but I heard it's really good. KG's in it, which is strange enough.
The other one that The Wedding Singer was really good. That
Oh,
was
dude,
another
that's
one.
a great movie.
90
Yeah.
First Dates. It's
Eh.
like,
Mr. Deeds. Mr. Deeds was funny.
Can I
At
just
the
say
time.
this? Who's
hey,
the girl? Who's the
What?
girl in 50 First Dates?
Mandy
Oh,
Moore?
Drew Barrymore.
Drew
Can I
Barrymore.
just say this? It's gonna be very unpopular. Drew Barrymore. I'm overrated.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, no, I agree with you.
I agree.
Yes.
We agree.
First
Yeah.
Dates.
No.
That's his 90. but that's weird. Well, what about how does everyone feel about Click?
Click was
someone-
really good. I liked Click a lot.
Someone in the chat from Red actually said Click was their favorite. So
It's
Click was
like
really
the
good.
most emotional Adam Sandler movie. Not
The
necessarily
lo-
the funniest.
The Longest Yard was good.
dude, how do we forget the Water Boy?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Waterboy's
love
got
the
it.
Water Boy.
See, poor Saya Fox. He probably has never seen any of these movies, so he's got to watch it.
Have you not seen Ben? Have you seen any of these movies?
Probably, but I don't remember that much. I don't really watch too many movies.
I feel like his movies hold up. Like I feel like they
Yeah.
don't. They're not, just for one point in time. I think they hold up throughout the years.
Waterboy's a little inappropriate, but I mean, when he says, the coach says, "Will you do that for me every day?" He goes, "Not only will I do that for you, coach, but yes, I'll do it for you." It's just, it's just the best part of any Adam Sandler movie.
Oh,
No, I like
don't
the
know
line
about
that foosball's the devil.
I say that to the kids all the time, and they still look at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Mikey, that's how you know you're old is when you're making references to young kids and they're just looking at you like, "What are you doing, man?"
It's better than going to a park and watching them from afar,
I knew he would say that.
and then them picking on you.
Yeah, that's
Oh man,
very bad.
what's
He's
your
got
what?
no. I said I was just gonna say Adam Sandler's got a crazy catalog, man. Like he's done a lot of good work.
Adam Sandler episode. I mean, I like it, but
That's.
Adam
I'm not
Sandler
gonna even
appreciate-
call this. I'm not even gonna call this the video game special part 2. I'm just gonna call it the Adam Sandler appreciation episode.
He should get all the appreciation he. Where does he live now?
Oh, I don't know. But not only was he a great actor in the movies, but he was fantastic on SNL for many, many
Oh.
years.
Yeah.
So that was like an all-star team, though. Him, Chris Rock, Chris Farley,
Yeah.
David Spade, Rob
So-
Schneider.
Here's the thing, though, about like I like SNL, right? And here's the thing about that whole conversation, right? I'm sure there are people on the cast now that will look back in 20 years and be like, "Oh, they were so great." So like people always look back so fondly of like the old days of SNL, but I'm sure there are people there now that we will look back on in the future, be like, "They were great."
yeah. Well, may I go first? Is that SNL's hit or miss every single episode? So like it takes like 10 years of the same people to be on there until you have enough memories of really good episodes. We're like, wow, they were amazing. Where most of the episodes, even with Adam Sandler, are probably crap. Like, you know what I mean? He's in there for 100 episodes, maybe 10 of them are good, but it's enough to like fill up a special.
But again, it's experimentation, right? So
Yeah.
the reality is, and you know that some of them just have it, right? Like they have it. Like the one thing I saw with and I haven't watched. Have you guys watched SNL in the last like few months or years?
Yeah,
even?
I watch it every week.
Do you
Yeah,
Eli,
we're a
no.
big SNL family.
really? Oh, okay. Well, then you don't you don't fit in this thing. But I haven't watched it for years. But then when Elon Musk was coming on, okay, we'll
Oh,
go watch
God.
it. The hype and
Can I just say before you get any further that
I go.
I've watched many SNLs in the past year or so. The one with Elon Musk was probably one of the worst episodes I've seen in like the past 2 years. So if that's the only one you've watched, you've got a bad
Well, I
sample.
haven't watched it in quite a long time. So I watched it, and half of the intro was basically 15 different cast members. So I just remember originally with SNL there wasn't as many cast members. I guess maybe I'm wrong on that, but it just seemed very, very overloaded, very bloated.
It depends on the guest. And I mean, Lorne Michaels did his job, the producer.
Yeah.
If he got you to watch it, if you haven't watched it in years, you know what I mean?
That was an Elon. That was because the hype with Elon Musk. I haven't watched it because I haven't really seen a very good episode or a good It didn't get me to say, oh, I gotta watch this every week. So
Trudeau, how was the SNL with Dan Levy? I love Dan Levy.
I don't know who Dan Levy is.
Are you kidding? Oh my goodness.
Canadian
I'm not.
actor? Canadian
Oh,
actor.
that's why.
Are you
No,
kidding?
I'm actually really bad with actors and actresses. Like you can ask my wife. Like I blank on so many names. When was it? How long ago was it? That episode?
It was like a month ago, probably.
I probably watched it, and I probably just don't know who Dan Levy is. You know what's crazy is you know who the most tenured cast member of all time is? Mick knows. Who is it?
Will Ferrell.
Nah,
No.
your boy Keenan Thompson.
Oh yeah,
Kenan
I was
Thompson.
gonna say yeah. He would be. He's been on so many times. Oh my god.
He has his own show now.
All
Yeah.
that.
Could you imagine like, so I don't know if this rumor is true, but I heard that when Kenan Thompson auditioned, Kel from Kenan and Kel also auditioned, and they took Kenan over Kel for the role. Can you imagine how different like everything would be if Kel got the part instead?
Yeah.
For SNL.
Yeah, I liked that show. That was a great show. All that.
Kenan-
I'm sorry, Kenan and Kel.
Kenan Kel was really good, and so was all that. Especially when what was it? Kel did the hamburger guy. What was that? Good Burger.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I take your order?
Well, and then Kenan and Kel, the thing was the orange soda.
Who
I
loves
do.
orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. I do.
He was like Scooby Doo, and it was like a Scooby snack for him. It's weird. I don't know.
Great shows. But yeah, SNL, I know people give it a bad rap nowadays. I think everyone just looks back at the past and only thinks of the great episodes. There was definitely some duds in the past. There are definitely some duds now. It's not perfect now, but I still enjoy it. My favorite part, actually, if you guys watch it, I love the Weekend Update. Like, that's my jam. I live for Weekend Update. That shit's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think that like there's pieces of it that I will say that are very, very good and they stand the test of time. And the two, who is it? Michael Che,
Colin
right?
Jost.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Those guys are good.
They're really good, and I love it when they start to make fun of each other. Or I remember that he's dating what is it? What's her name?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson. And he didn't see his monologue or
Yes.
his, and then Michael Che basically made him diss her throughout the whole segment, and he had to read it, and it was so funny. It's just like guys shitting on themselves, shitting on each other, right? And basically just making them embarrass themselves. I thought it was great.
They're
And
great writers. What's everyone's favorite cast member then right now? I don't know. Well, only apparently Steve, and you really watch it at all.
Like vintage, like from before or
No,
all
current.
Right now, current.
current? I don't know the current ones other
So,
than those two.
I'll when you guys think, I will go ahead, and I think it's hard to say favorite because there's not like one all-star. I think Kate McKinnon's probably the most talented of the cast members, but I think underrated, who I think has a future with SNL and maybe bigger than SNL, is Bowen Yang. That guy is hilarious. The Asian guy, he is funny, man. And Chris Redd's really good too. I like some of the lesser known cast members. They're all good though. There's not like one bad cast member. Everyone. That's the problem. I think back in the day, maybe there was like 2 or 3 like really big time people you could look to, but now it's just like everyone's kind of pretty good. Like there's a lot of solid people all around, but not 1 or 2 standout superstars. So anyone else has any cast members they like? They're just gonna leave me hanging.
What Vanessa Villaseñor's impressions always crack me up. Her impressions are just so perfect that I just laugh out loud every time. And Pete Davidson. I mean, I love Pete Davidson. I don't know if he's exactly like the funny.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
you love him. I feel like you can't help but like enjoy him. Like, everyone's like shaking their head like disgusted. Everyone's just like hates my.
He's fine.
No.
He's fine.
But I think he's trying too hard. Like if I look at like what I like when I did watch SNL, and I watched when they would try to make each other laugh, where they would break character or things like that, when things were like super fun. And again, like with Bill Hader, right, as an example, right? So he was super funny on that show on SNL, and then he was naturally very, very funny, and he wasn't looking for this desperate, seeking of attention. And I feel that what's his name is just seeking attention all the time.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually segue because you mentioned Bill Hader. I believe was it him or was it someone else who showed up? Have you seen Curb Your Enthusiasm? Anyone
of
Curb
course.
fans?
Yeah.
That show, man, is hilarious.
It's very good. Yeah.
I'm gonna give a hot take, and I think it's better than Seinfeld.
I never.
Well, again, it's different. Like again, Seinfeld was a show about nothing, and Curb
is the same thing. It's both the same creator,
same genre, but it's basically, and they ad-libbed a lot of it, right? So that's the thing with Curb Your Enthusiasm. They did ad-lib a lot. They'd have a scene or something, and then they would actually ad-lib a tremendous amount of that show. So I think it's great. Curb Your Enthusiasm, I think, is a phenomenal show.
I haven't watched enough Curb to give a good, I think, honest review, but I mean the stories in Seinfeld when they start, when they end, is it the same in Curb? Like, is there always like some like
Yes.
Yes.
It's centered around Larry David. So imagine if
Yeah.
Seinfeld was centered around George Costanza.
Yeah.
And Larry David leans into being a complete asshole the whole
It does sound like a better show. It sounds like a better show than Seinfeld. I've only seen a couple of
So think about it this way. Do you like Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
It's like if Seinfeld was modeled after Always Sunny in Philadelphia as far as the level of crude humor, because Always Sunny is very crude.
Yeah, it's way more crude than Curb Your Enthusiasm. Curb Your Enthusiasm is pushing racial lines, is pushing the limits on. Again, he's a complete asshole, and he doesn't mind being an asshole. Like he actually, like you said, leans into it, and that's the whole show is basically him.
But the best part, he doesn't think he's an asshole the whole time.
No, he thinks he's right. He absolutely thinks he's right.
The Michael J. Fox episode in Curb Your
God.
Enthusiasm was maybe my favorite of all time.
Can you just, before we get out of here, can you explain why that's so funny?
So Larry David lives on, I believe it's the 49th floor of the 50th floor apartment complex, and every night he hears this guy making, well, he doesn't know who it is, making a ton of noise, and he's like, what are they doing, having a dance party up there, going crazy? So he goes upstairs to knock on this door to see who it is, and it's Michael J. Fox, and he doesn't know what to say. Michael J. Fox says, come in, and it's just very, very cringy.
And
cringy.
Can you explain why the Michael J. Fox thing is of significance?
No, but because you can say it, Trudeau.
I believe he has Parkinson's disease, right? Right. So he has uncontrolled movement of his limbs. So he's always like stomping around when he moves. So that is why there was so much noise. And then it gets worse because not only does he find out that it's Michael J. Fox stomping, but he doesn't feel bad because then he accuses Michael J. Fox of doing it on purpose. And it becomes this whole thing. It becomes so bad that he gets evicted from the building, I believe.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Clear History?
I was going to mention it, but I thought it would be pointless to mention it. I'm glad you brought it up. That movie's hilarious.
It's Larry David. It's the Curb character, and he's in the movie, and he comes up with this brilliant idea, but he gets in a fight with the CEO of his company, and he basically gets bought out for $8,000, and then it becomes Tesla. And he goes into hiding, living in Martha's Vineyard. It's really, really good.
I will check that out. So let's Emmanuel, what do you got for me before we go?
Last thing with Curb Your Enthusiasm. So we were actually watching a documentary the other day, and it was about this murder. He was in prison for, I think, for 10 years or 12 years or something like that. Insane. And he actually got off and got out of prison because of Curb Your Enthusiasm. They were filming.
He wasn't in jail for
that.
10 years, Emmanuel, and it's because they were filming at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, no, right. But that was his alibi. And that show actually got him off because that was the evidence they needed, was the fact that he was walking his kid to the seat with his drink, and Larry David's like next to him when he's walking down, and they had it on the actual camera on the shot. So it got him off. Got him out of jail.
Both those detectives ended up in jail for lying and doing all of that stuff.
Yeah. So well, two of them were there, one got out.
So we're about to wrap this thing up, but this is the video game special. I enjoyed that we kind of dove into some other aspects of entertainment, but this is the video game special. So I just want to go around the chat room and see if there's any last thoughts or words anyone wants to throw in about a video game that maybe we didn't talk about, or really quick, just like a minute each. So just get your last piece in. So let's jump off with Mick. Mick, you can finish us off first, buddy.
All right. Well, play World of Goo, I guess. That's the hot take I got today is play World of Goo. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to look it up yourself.
If you have any questions, just DM Emmanuel.
No, do not DM me. People are going to throw snowballs at my house, I think.
Emmanuel, you got anything?
Well, I don't myself, but I do have. So we have somebody on Discord that actually just sent a note, and it's Mariah. And she says, so there's a few things. She does say that she loves Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and she thinks it's the bomb. I don't know. It's a PC game, so it's not a console.
Whoa. Skyward Sword is a Wii game. Okay.
Oh, it is a Wii game? Okay, so my mistake. But she said that she liked that. The other one is Hotel Dusk, room 215. Have you ever played that? You know anything about that?
I've never been there. I'm a married man.
Yeah, and then the other one was Spore. She says that she plays Spore. I don't remember
Yo,
Spore.
Spore's cool.
I
Yeah.
wanted to bring that up as a disappointment because I think people wanted it to be more than it was, right?
Oh, yeah, that's probably what it is. But yeah, she thought it was an all-around amazing game and great. You get to interact with your own creation. So she liked it. Mariah, you're there. Oh, there she is. She's there. She's on.
Before
Hey, shout out. Spore is for PC.
before we jump off, I love how Mick said that it was a disappointment, and Manuel goes agrees, and then immediately reads the statement and says she said it was an amazing game. Not at all what she wanted to convey to us.
Mariah's watching us now, and you're making me look bad.
I don't have to work hard to make you look bad.
I didn't say it was bad. I said it was a disappointment. People have wrong opinions, you know?
Okay. Well,
Mariah's got the right one, I
listening
guess.
now. What do you want to say to Mariah? Go ahead. Crash Bandicoot's story is beautiful. Go ahead. What do you want to say
Crash
to her?
Bandicoot story is better than Spore. I mean, Spore, there's no story. It just starts. You're just life from a single cell organism. No, Spore's cool, but I think people wanted more out of it.
Mariah, I would like to hear your opinion on Pokemon Snap. It was a disappointment.
Oh boy, this again.
All right, so Mike, is that your big takeaway that Pokemon Snap is disappointing and you were upset?
That's all I got today. It leaves room for an improvement and a desire for more.
All right, Ben, what do you got for us? Last closing words.
Right. I'd say have any of you played a dungeon crawler game?
You
Any
mean
dungeon
night crawlers?
No, dungeon crawlers like Diablo
No one got the joke. The night crawlers. Always Sunny. Anyways, no, I played Diablo. Yeah.
Dungeon crawlers are something I feel are a bit underrated because I've seen so many good dungeon crawlers recently too. I think one of the most recent one I have been playing other than Diablo is what is it? Minecraft Dungeons. It's just a Minecraft IP version of a dungeon crawler. It's pretty cool since, Hades is really good. Hades is another really good dungeon crawler.
Not familiar. I'll have to check them both out. I've played Diablo. Not quite my thing. I just find it to be repetitive personally. It's just very, very repetitive. I'm just like mowing through enemies. But maybe Hades, I've never heard of it. I'll check that out. Maybe it's a little bit different. Also, as far as the dungeon crawlers go, I have a friend, Mark Delamos, who lives by Path of Exile. It sounds pretty similar to the games you're talking about. So check that out. My closing thoughts, underrated all time. Yo, the Sims franchise was fun as hell. Y'all can't even say that wasn't fun.
Really good.
So much fun. I love to just deck out my house and build out this giant house with all this cool shit. And I was, before I jump off the podcast, I just want to say this to all you people out there that do this one thing. If you build a pool and put people in it and destroy the ladder, get help because you are a psychopath. Facts.
Okay.
Did you hear that, Emmanuel?
I did. And I would actually destroy the ladder just because he said it right now. But I think the more you talk, Trudeau, the more that you actually, that you convince me that you would love to play Dungeons and Dragons. Because that's literally like, you like real life games that are simulations, right? You love to be like switching your alignment. So from good, where you show people you're good, but then you're really, really evil. Like this is you should try Dungeons and Dragons, the best console, the mind.
So you know what I do love that's not a video game, but it's more of a board game, is Settlers of Catan. So I don't know if that's anything like that, but that shit's cool as hell. We can play that together. How about that? Compromise?
Maybe. Okay, maybe.
Dungeons and Dragons.
What? Yeah. Go.
It's just Final Fantasy, but you just make all the rules up.
Mariah wants us to do a D&D podcast. We're not into that, Mariah.
Mariah, you can be Emmanuel's new best friend and play Dungeons and Dragons with him because nobody else here wants to.
I think we should try it once.
I played it once, and it was so terrible because the dungeon master, it depends on, and he was just like, we had to go to the store, and like I had to talk and old people talk to buy my potions. I was like, I just want to go kill something, man. Well,
listen, this is the one stipulation. I never want Emmanuel to be my dungeon master.
You'll become a world of goo before you know it.
And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank those watching live on Reddit, Twitch, YouTube, whatever. Thank you for watching. Remember, rate, subscribe, review. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. I want to thank Saya Fox and McKinley Trudeau for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the video game special. Part 2. We'll talk to you next week. Peace out.